Signing day is only 3 days away, and I want to hit on the most interesting recruitments that we're tracking in these last 72 hours. I got Director of Recruiting here at On3, Chad Simmons, here to break it all down. But guys, do me a favor. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button to the On3 Recruit channel. We've been covering recruiting this entire cycle. You guys have been a part of it. Jump on board, hit subscribe. All right, let's bring in Chad Simmons. The fireworks are about to get started on this early signing day. Let's start with five-star offensive tackle David Sanders Jr. There's been rumors galore in the last 7 days about David Sanders Jr. Kind of set the table here with how you read this recruitment 3 days out.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously one thing we know, great job by Pete Nako, Steve, and everybody on the team to kind of be locked in on this one and figure out where he's at. If he's anywhere, is he at home, Ohio State, Tennessee? What we know is over the weekend, he did not make it back to Ohio State. And for me, that's likely a good sign for Tennessee based on what we're hearing from the Tennessee side as well about all the questions getting answered, communication being strong after that return to Columbus last weekend for the Indiana game. So to kind of, like you said, set the stage, things seem to be trending back towards him staying with Tennessee in this class. Look, anything, as we know in today's world of recruiting, is possible. Schools like Ohio State, especially after getting him back on campus last weekend, will not give up until the papers are signed. But right now it seems Tennessee feels pretty good about where they're at with David Sanders.
Yeah, this is one of those recruitments. I mean, when he committed to Tennessee, I just didn't think that 3 days before signing day that this would be the case with David Sanders potentially flipping to Ohio State. We'll see how things go over the next few days. Let's talk about five-star defensive lineman Justus Terry. This one has been trending in Georgia's direction for the majority of the cycle, but there's been other teams trying to get in. Chad, do you think anyone has a shot at grabbing Justus Terry away from Georgia?
Well, I think the latest school obviously is Auburn. They got him on campus a little over a week ago for an official visit. They're close to home. We've always talked about Auburn. They recruit that area in Columbus, Georgia really well. It's close to home, close to that campus. They've had success there in the past. Can they have success this time? It's going to be difficult. Look, man, Georgia's the in-state school. He was committed there at one time. He's been to Athens too many times to count. The relationships there, they're real. They will matter with Kirby Smart, Trey Scott, Glenn Schumann, the entire staff. He knows commitments. He knows players. Look, all that could come and mean nothing. You know, come when he signs on right now. It's Friday, December 6th, to be one of the last guys standing, not signing until the last day possible this week. But right now, I still like where Georgia's at. Auburn is the school that they at least have some level of confidence to believe they're in the mix late for Justus Terry. Alabama's giving it a shot. Texas had him on campus as well. He was at one time committed to USC. But it seems Auburn, if there is competition for Georgia, is the team to watch late. But I still like Georgia's position.
Okay. Now, five-star offensive tackle Michael Fasusi is committed to Oklahoma. OU didn't have the best season, but Fasusi continues to say the right things. But it seems like the two in-state schools, Fasusi's from Texas, A&M and the Longhorns, both trying to flip him from OU. Can they do it?
They're going to give it their best shot. There's some, I would say, some optimism in Austin coming off last week's visit in Texas. And then obviously he was back at A&M this week. He's been heavily engaged with A&M too on Zoom calls, talking with that staff, Mike Elko. No returns yet. You know, he was still on campus this morning in College Station. Obviously, the game didn't go the way A&M wanted it to late last night against Texas. But he's looking at the big picture here. Where can he get on the field? Where can he make an impact? How are their relationships? Who can set him up for life after football? All those things will factor in. It still goes back to Oklahoma with Bill Bedenbaugh. That's his guy, that connection, that relationships. Look, Fasusi, he's about business. Yes, NIL matters. Yes, depth charts matters, no doubt. But he also is a people's person. Bill Bedenbaugh has connected with him the best out of anyone. Sure, there's relationships with Cushing at Texas A&M, Flood in Texas as well. Those schools are definitely pushing, trying to make it interesting here late, and we think they likely will, but they have to do enough to knock him off from Oklahoma, who is still the top school right now, just a few days out.
All right. Now, five-star defensive lineman Jahkeem Stewart, his weekend was uneventful, similar to David Sanders. There was rumors all week that he was going to pop up maybe at Ohio State, maybe USC, maybe another visit to LSU. But Jahkeem Stewart put out the photo of him chilling by the pool, just grilling and sitting by the pool on a Saturday. Everybody else was guessing where Jahkeem Stewart was going to be. This recruitment has been wild. He reclassified about 8 weeks ago. His recruitment has been shot out of a cannon. Jahkeem Stewart, 3 days from a decision. Lay it out for us.
Yeah, I mean, Jahkeem's just living the life, I would say, Josh. I mean, laying out there by the pool with the lake in the background. Here we are dealing with like 30-degree temperatures, chasing rumors every minute of the day, trying to figure out who's going to flip, who's going to sign. This one has been, like you said, pretty wild, Josh. I mean, we kind of painted the picture. Steve Wiltfong and myself we've kind of been on the same page here for most of this recruitment. We all have different sources, but we thought at one time, just a few weeks ago, it was Oregon versus Ohio State. We kind of both took a pivot. It became, after that USC OV, we felt USC versus Oregon. He went back to Oregon. Things shifted towards USC. LSU's been lurking from the very beginning, an in-state program. He's been there over a dozen times. Yeah. It's now become USC versus LSU. We see late in the process with a final decision still to be made. He did not make it to LSU this weekend. We feel he was in Baton Rouge middle of the week last week as well, though, for one last meeting with Brian Kelly, Blake Baker, Frank Wilson. Many are involved there. We think right now USC still has the edge. LSU, a very close second. We think Ohio State is out. Oregon's faded. But again, anything's possible these last, 48, 72 hours, Josh. But right now, USC edge over LSU based on my intel.
All right, let's talk about four-star defensive lineman Isaiah Campbell. He's right outside that top 32, borderline five-star. Isaiah Campbell reopened his recruitment in October when he was committed to Clemson. He's back on the market, and what do you think Isaiah Campbell has cooking?
This was not quite as wild as Jahkeem Stewart. I mean, I think, black and white, pretty simple. Look, he was committed to Clemson. He backed off that pledge. We felt Tennessee was the team to beat. North Carolina, the main competition. It remained that way all the way up until now. He took the OV to Tennessee. They had a great time. Went to UNC in Chapel Hill. They moved the needle. Back to UT for an unofficial. They kind of regained that momentum. Just a day or two later, UNC removes back Mac Brown from the head coaching spot in Chapel Hill. All signs right now point to Tennessee. He's had some big Zoom calls with that staff, the academic people at Tennessee. We think they check the boxes the most now for Isaiah Campbell. And right now I'm riding with the Vols. Look, UNC is not going to give up. They're an in-state program. There's more to this decision for Isaiah. It's not just about football. It's about life after football. The education is big in this. But right now, like Tennessee's position here.
I agree with you. All right, four-star tight end Linkon Cure committed to Kansas State, but I think he's on flip watch at this point. He was at Oregon over the weekend. Linkon Cure, could there be some late action in his recruitment?
He's definitely one to watch, Josh. Obviously, an elite talent. Oregon's wanted to take two tight ends in this class from the beginning. They had his fellow guy from Kansas, Hassan Brame, committed at one time, backed off and flipped to Tennessee earlier this year. Then they go in and flip from Washington, Vander Ploos. They have one tight end there, want to add that second. Cure has been a guy high on their board from the very beginning. And when he picked K-State, he battled, from within, trying to figure out, was K-State the best fit or was Oregon the best fit? He did his homework. He took the visits, and he made that decision. It was K-State at that time. He's been back to Manhattan this year a couple of times. He loves the staff there. But the Oregon staff has never given up. They got him back on campus this weekend, just days before the early signing period. There's definitely strong returns after this visit coming back from Cure and his family. He met with the staff before and after the game last night against Washington. He saw the 12th win for the program. He saw the use of the tight end in the offensive scheme. They're giving him a lot to think about. And Cure admitted that to me earlier this morning, that, look, he's going to have to really struggle, he feels like, for a day or two to figure out what's the right fit for him. Is it K-State? Is it Oregon? The buzz around the Ducks is real, though. There's no doubt about that.
All right. The last prospect I want to talk about is one of the few uncommitted prospects in the top 100. That's linebacker Madden Faraimo. Now, he was at USC this weekend, but Notre Dame's heavily involved. This recruitment coming down to the wire, how do you read it?
Yeah, Notre Dame won the game on the field yesterday, Josh, but did they win the battle on the recruiting trail? Look, there's a lot of optimism, I think, in LA now. The hometown school, he can be that hometown hero. They want to build the defense around him. They're telling him he's on the official visit still in Southern California right now as we talk, Josh, in LA. And we thought we'd make a decision, in July or early August. Here we are now on December 1st. He is still not committed at different times. Washington's been in the mix. Texas was involved as well, but it is the teams that played in the Coliseum yesterday still standing late. Notre Dame versus USC. USC has picked up some momentum this weekend. Look, he has a lot of reasons why he loves Notre Dame, from academics to the Catholic background, to the relationships with the staff. But can that all trump staying home, being close to home, to his family? He has connections to that program that played there in the past. They want to build the team, the defense around him. They're giving him a lot to think about. And if I'm leaning one way slightly right now, Josh, it's toward USC. But Notre Dame is still it could really go either way. I'm told there's no decision been made yet. Again, he's still on campus right now. He involves his family in his decision as well. So, look, there's a lot to still be discussed, I'm told, but USC has knocked it out of the park, minus the win on the field this weekend.
Well, Chad, you laid it out. There is a lot to track between now and National Signing Day. You guys talked to Chad and I. What do you think about some of these 5 stars? Are they flipping? Are they sticking? Let us know. Comment section below.